Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general mid-month reading for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you. Excuse me. And then you should come back and watch the videos for your Moon and Ascendant signs, because they'll give you a better idea of what's going on for you cosmologically, rather than just your sun sign. So, first things first, thank you very much. I woke up at the beginning of this week and I only had Mercury gone direct, yay. But I'd also discovered that I'd gone over 10,000 subscribers, and that was a huge milestone for me. It's massive, and I just wanted to express extreme gratitude to you all, because frankly that's all down to you, to have over 10,000 people think that anything that I have to say is worth listening to was extraordinarily validating. So thank you to all the people who have subscribed, liked the videos, commented, shared the videos, reached out for personal readings, sent me messages to let me know, what was going on with them personally, donated to the channel. Like, you guys make all of this, otherwise I am just a woman sat in her turret talking to herself. So thank you, I appreciate it greatly. What else? Like I said, Mercury went direct, so that's all cool. We're in the shadow period until about the 29th of March, I think it is. So just be aware that there is echoes of that energy around at the moment. And Pisces season, gosh, I hope it didn't fuck you all up as much as it seemed to fuck the Leos up. Like, the Sagittarians seem to escaped some of the worst of it, but were still absolutely affected. But Leo's copped it big time, and I imagine Aries probably did. Gemini and Aquarius did also. So we're nearly at the end, and then it's Aries season. Yeah. So happy birthday for anybody whose birthday falls before the 31st of March. Happy solar return and all that. I'm getting very hot. That's a really good sign, I like that. So, because this is a mid-month reading and it's supposed to be shorter than all the others, I'm going to stop burbling and I'm going to actually, pull some cards. I'm going to pull 3 for your energy right now, where you're at, 3 for what's coming towards you, and then 3 cards of advice. The plan is no clarifiers, but we'll see how we go, because I've had to break that rule with a few of the signs, not all of them, but some of them. I'm hoping yours is going to be nice and straightforward, because it's nearly your birthday and I'm getting hot and feel a fire rising, so hopefully that's yours. Can I have 3 cards for Aries, please? What is Aries energy right now? I'm taking droppers. Here we go, there's the first one. Ace of Swords, beautiful, I like it. We see the seed of the sword suit. It's a good start though, I like that. 2 more cards for Aries, please. What is Aries energy doing right now? Ooh, 2 of Cups. I like that as well. We've got an ace and a 2. And then 1 more. 1 more for Aries. I'll show you these cards that have flipped in a moment, because this is extraordinary, right? We've got the Strength card, the Fool card, the Queen of Wands, which is you, Aries, and what's that? Ooh, Death. So there seems to be a certain leaning in all of this here towards a relationship or partnership in some way that you have that may or may not involve a Leo or a Scorpio. We'll see. Don't want to prejudge it too much. Have 1 more card for Aries, please. Ooh. 4 of Swords. That's interesting. Okay. So, let's have a look at the bottom of the deck now. We've got the Fool there, the Queen of Wands, and Death. What? Oh, it's because I put them there. Yeah. Alright. So actually at the bottom of the deck you've got the 3 of Cups, which is a lovely card. So the first card that you've got is the Ace of Swords. And all aces are new. new something, right? They contain the infinite potentiality of the suit that they represent. So with the Ace of Swords, this is new communication, new modes of thinking, new patterns of thinking. It can be a flash of insight into something, you know, a new idea about something. It's very cerebral, right? Very intellectual, very logical. But it can also come to mean the truth as well, right? And there's a sense of you sitting in a truth about something, and perhaps it is a truth about a relationship, because the next card you've got is the Two of Cups. I actually like these two together, although I could see how it'd be possible to see it disappearing down a hole. The Two of Cups is about meeting another person, right, who's on the same wavelength as you, right? There's a sense of shared ideals, shared values, right? And this doesn't have to be a romantic partnership. This could be a sibling, a friend, a work colleague, you know, whoever. It's just two people coming together, right? And the energy just works. You just mesh. Not only that, because of these shared values and these shared ideals and everything that you've got, like, you can see a path forwards with each other, being part of each other's lives. Like, I keep looking at the caduceus at the top. We've got this winged lion, right, on the strength card flip. So you might well be dealing with a Leo. But this is the truth about a relationship, or sitting in a truth about a relationship, right? I didn't want to do it this early on, but I'm going to pull a clarifier or two to just see what this truth is. You know, maybe you've... No, hang on. Ace of Swords and Two of Cups. Tell me about the Ace of Swords and Two of Cups, please. Temperance. Right, so that's the card of Sagittarius. It talks about healing. Right? It's an... Ooh. Right. Note how on this card you've got an angel with two cups, right? And there's one pouring into another, and we've got here the Two of Cups, right? This is healing a relationship of some sort, right? Or healing your feelings about something to do with the relationship. Perhaps a truth has come in that has enabled you to heal a relationship. And then we've got this Nine of Pentacles. Now, this, some people call this kind of like the solo energy, but it doesn't need to be, because increasingly I'm starting to see this card indicate somebody who has a real... There's nothing about codependency implied by this card at all, right? And 90% of the relationships that I come across in my day-to-day life are, to some degree or another, codependent, right? It's just not recognized as a thing. This is somebody who is self-sufficient in all respects, right? They can completely look after themselves. This is a high vibration card. And when somebody's sitting in this energy, what they attract towards them are other people who are resonating at this frequency, right? So you're absolutely not talking about codependent relationships. You're not talking about shitty family relationships. Now I've said that. I seem to recall that there was some notion of that in the last reading, or maybe the reading before, I can't remember, but there was definitely Aries and families issues. There's a balancing here, there's a healing here. But the healing doesn't necessarily need to be of the relationship per se. It could just be your understanding of the relationship, and therefore what you are doing is healing yourself about it. Do you remember how I said I could see it going like either way? I feel like this might be it. At the bottom of the deck we've got the Seven of Pentacles. You know, that's kind of like the status quo. It's as things sit at the moment. It feels to me much more like you are healing yourself with regard to your understanding of what has occurred in this relationship, rather than coming together and healing the relationship itself. Because the final card that you've got for your energy here is the Four of Swords, and that's the card of... It's a card of stepping back. It's a card of taking a break, you know. It can sometimes talk about meditation. And if you don't do it, you should all go and do it, because it'll change your life, I promise you. But it's about repose, right? It's coming back from a situation. and healing, really. It's another card of healing. And this, again, only has one person depicted in this card. Right? This is you taking a step back and healing yourself about this situation. Now, note that the Four of Swords on this card, which is quite different to other cards, like they're all in a row there, and there's some sort of diaphanous sheet kind of thrown over the top of it. There's a sense of any kind of battle that you've been having, any kind of verbal wars, just you're stepping back from and you're not engaging with at all, and you're taking the time to rest and recover for yourself. That is excellent, Aries. I really, really like that. So let's get these cards shuffled in. Give them an opportunity to come out again if they want. I saw a meme even, and it had a list of things that qualified as self-care, and one of them was not trying to reason with someone who was committed to misunderstanding you. And that's the thing that's popped into my head as I'm looking at this array of cards, and it feels like that is your self-care. That is what the healing looks like to you. You're kind of stepping away from it and going, I will preserve myself and not engage. So let's get some cards about what's coming towards you. Right? 3 cards for what's coming towards Aries, please. That's the first one. 4 of Wands. What's coming towards Aries for the last 2 weeks of March, please. Fuck. Yeah. What's coming towards Aries? Whoa. At the bottom of the deck now we've got the 8 of Swords and the Ace of Wands, 2 8s, followed by the Sun. Again, like there definitely could be a Leo in the mix here somewhere. The 8 of Swords talks about feeling stuck, right? It talks about, it can talk about self-sabotage and stuff like that, but it's keeping yourself stuck in your own head, right? Because this woman appears to be in a perilous position, but actually, you know, like there's a blindfold around her eyes and she's bound but loosely. And she could give a little wriggle, get the blindfold off, and then as she changes her perception, as she sees things, you know, with open eyes rather than closed ones, so then she can perceive that her situation isn't quite as dire as she thinks it is. And I feel like that's probably important because what is coming towards you is the 4 of Wands, followed by the Hermit, followed by the 7 of Wands, right? Combative, potentially, energy there. But we'll start with the 4 of Wands. Now, like, my key word for this card, if I had one, would be home, right? It can mean lots of other things. It can mean twin flame shit if you've got, you know, one of those knocking around, and I would say 99% of the people that think they do not. It's just actually an abusive relationship. I'm going to throw that out there. But it can also mean soulmates. It can also talk about celebrations and weddings and things like that. But when you drill it down, soulmates are those souls that feel like home when we meet them, you know. Celebration is kind of obvious and apparent from the card, but it's... I'm going to pull some clarifiers. I'm getting a very introspective feel of this card. 4 of Wands. Knight of Wands. We've got 2 cards that are flipped, the Devil and the 3 of Swords there. Right. It's and the 3 of Wands. Yeah, right. So I had 2 of Wands. I beg your pardon, not the 3. The 4 of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the 2 of Wands. Right. It's a lot of wand energy, and that's really good for you here, I think, because none of your element was apparent in the top there, right? That was all swords, that was all water. And we come down here, we've got wands, and we've got one earth card, right? This is good. This is your energy. This is you starting to fire up, and I really, really like this, right? The Four of Wands, I was getting an introspective feeling of even before the Hermit came out, right? It feels like you are looking for a new way to conduct yourself in your home environment, right? Whether that is with a family, with a partner, with a soulmate, or with yourself. Because, I mean, truly, at the end of the day, you are your own home. You know, this kind of meat sack that we're walking around in. It's where your soul lives, right? And it feels like there's a reassessment of what it is that you want to consider home now, right? And that's definitely borne out by the fact that we've got the Hermit here, right? And it talks about going within, what you're going in and looking at and potentially restructuring, I feel, off the back of these two cards here, is what you understand that to be for you, right? The Knight of Wands, it gets a bad rap. It's a card of Sagittarius. You might have one of those knocking around. But the flip side of the Knight of Wands, and I tend to prefer this interpretation when it comes out the right way up, unless it's in specific circumstances, is living in the moment. You know, it's not being dragged down with events of the past, or things that have happened that aren't necessarily really relevant now. You're kind of chucking those out. You don't want those anymore. You want to live in the here and now. You want to honor your wand energy as a sign, and you're looking to restructure off the back of it, because we've got the Two of Wands, right? And this is a card of hitting a crossroads. And if my memory serves correctly, and I am right about the family issues and stuff that have been going on for Aries, certainly the close relationship stuff, you're done with it being the way that it was. Like, you want home, and whatever home means to you, to be something worthy of celebrating. And now this chap stood here, with a globe in his hand, right? He's looking at all the possibilities. He's looking at like every which way that this could go, and he is considering what is right for him, right? And he's picking a direction. What's right for him is in the here and now, right? As things stand, as they are, as they relate to whatever home means internally to you, deep down, right? It's a card of Virgo as well. There might be a Virgo in the mix, possibly. And then the final card that you've got is the Seven of Wands. And it can be quite a defensive energy. It can be very guarded, but it feels like it's more taking a position and holding it, like whatever this is, whatever's prompted all of this energy for you. You do feel like you're in the right. You do feel justified in the position that you've taken. And certainly the cards that I'm seeing here, and the general vibe that I'm getting off the reading, is that you are correct. And sometimes we do just need to let things leave our life. We had the Death card flip. We need to let things leave our life, or when it is time to do so. And sometimes to do that, we need to take a position. We need to stand there, and we need to see who tries to come and knock us over, but who just goes, well, and leaves, Not only did you have the Death card flip, and I was shuffling, but the Fool card was in there as well. And it's like, it's sloughing off. It's losing the baggage so that you can move forwards in the lightest possible sense. And the Fool card for me is the card of Aries. It makes sense. You're trailblazing. You cannot do that if you're laden down like a fucking donkey with all of this baggage around you. Tell me more about the Seven of Wands, please. The Seven of Wands. Wow. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the Eight of Swords again, right? You're not prepared to sit in this energy any longer. You're not prepared to feel as trapped and as bound by the circumstances as you have been. And I think that there is a level of recognition within you that you hold the power to change the situation, because what we've got to clarify the Seven of Wands is the Two of Swords, the Magician, and the Four of Wands, right? I think that you're starting to understand that you really are the master of your own existence. Like, you do get to choose the direction that it goes in, and this is something that perhaps you haven't before. Like, this is a card of blockage, right? It's a card of not making a decision, and I feel like you are going to make a decision, right? Because you've got the Magician and the Four of Wands. Like, this is the ultimate card of manifesting right here. Right? Really, really powerful card. This dude has got everything in his toolbox that he needs to move forwards. And you combine that energy with the Fool, and it's all heading towards the Four of Wands, you know. It says to me that there's a lot that you're going to be letting go, or not maybe physically letting go, but a lot that you're allowing to leave. This distinction feels important to me. And rather than weeping over that or allowing yourself to feel stuck, you're appreciating it for what it is and seeing that this is pulling the bags off your back. It's pulling all the anchors off you that have been holding you in one place for such a long time. And it's allowing you to move forwards. I don't think I need to clarify that any further, actually. So, it's a really powerful energy shift, actually, Aries, because to go from Eight of Swords energy to then pulling out, you know, all of these ones, which is your suit, you know, you're aligning with your energy, and bring it in with, you know, a sense of knowing that what you are doing is correct, but also then manifesting your own future and making sure that what it looks like to you is what is going to come round, right? Spending this time contemplating it and then fucking bringing it into existence. It's really powerful. And I'm not at all surprised that it's coinciding with the start of your season, right? Instead, I felt really, really hot before. I was fucking burning up, and it's really cold, right? It's really, really cold. There's a sense of the energy building, right? And it's possible that it won't be until, you know, the sun hits Aries that you really get fired up enough to do it, but it's definitely building and it's on its way. Okay, I have 3 cards of advice for Aries, please. Second and the third, right? At the bottom of the deck now we've got the Two of Wands, right? You are at a crossroads. What you do here in this 2-week period, you know, maybe 3, maybe you've already hit it and you're kind of balls deep in this energy at the moment, right? What you do here has a really big ripple effect for other things, you know, later down the line, later this year, you know, and this is life. This is soul evolution. This is when, you know, we face these challenging circumstances in order to prepare us for the new thing, because we're constantly, you know, the universe experiencing itself. We're trying to level up. That's what we're doing. I'm going to pull some clarifiers for these. Whoa. Yeah. For these advice cards, because I want to make sure that I'm absolutely nailing this. Tell me about the sevens. Wow. Okay, this is so exciting. This is awesome. I love this. Right, we've got some cards that fell to the right on the floor. They're the Queen of Swords and the Six of Swords, right? Definite movement. I feel you definitely moving away and not being emotionally affected by the things that have done that to you, right? You're cutting out all of the shit. You're getting rid of all the stuff that isn't for you. You're letting it leave, letting it go, lightening up the load and moving, right? Let me get one more since I've got two for each of the others. Right? No, there isn't one for that, right? Okay, so I'm going to take it in the way that first occurred to me when I saw it. So the Hanged Man, he talks about changing perspective, yes, and gaining wisdom, yes, and all of those things. But the other thing that he talks about is submission. And because it's the most passive card in the deck, it's about waiting, right? And it's come out with the Ace of Wands, right? Your ace. Beautiful. We are about to move into Aries season, and Aries is number one in the zodiacal calendar, right? It's the start of the new zodiacal year. Hence why, you're trailblazers. You go off, you do new things, right? I feel like this is important because I feel like it's asking you not yet to make any sudden moves, right? We've probably got, 5-6 days, depending on when you watch this video, before Aries season starts. And I think it's asking you not to just, well, we've still got this Piscean energy swirling around, which is very ungrounded and, difficult and very emotional, particularly for fire signs to deal with, right? Wait it out. Wait for the start of your season, right? Because the energy is starting to build. I can feel it. Like, we've got really, really hot. See all of these ones coming in, right? But I do feel like you're going to know when it's time, right? I think that you will just have the feeling and you'll know, right? It's time for you to strike out. Don't force anything before then. It could be that there's just some random event that occurs that is the springboard, is what you need, right? And if there is, you'll know when you see it. But don't yet make any sudden moves. Wait until we're in, Aries season and then move forwards, right? The second card of advice you've got is the Seven of Swords. Now, some people, call this the Thief card and stuff like that. I don't really see it that way, right? For me, this is a card of taking a risk. Yes, there's kind of deception implied by it, but you cannot ascertain motive, and I feel like the motive is the thing that makes the difference here. So for me, it's about taking a risk, right? That's the most neutral interpretation I can make of this card. It is risky, what you're about to do, but you're Aries, right? You're all about that. But what's underneath is the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles, right? This is asking you to consider what makes you happy, right? Not just the things that you don't want in your life anymore, but really have a good think about what you actually do want, right? So I was talking to in one of the other signs videos about how what we tend to do when we're trying to attract new things in is come up with this massive list, like this long, about all the things that we don't want, and that is just a focal point for our energy. Then, like, the vibration that we are throwing out is focused entirely on those things that we don't want, right? For me, the Nine of Cups is getting really fucking sharp about what it is that you do want, right? For a new start, right? A solid, tangible new start. What are the exact things? What does it look like to you? Envisage it. I read a thing the other day and it said, when manifesting, something must exist twice. First in your mind, and then in the 3D when you bring it in, and you've got this magician energy, right? Part of this is really, really understanding not only yourself, but what you want, what will make you happy, right? And being ready to take the risk to make that happen. It's two aces, man. It's fucking awesome. It's not two aces. It's not two aces. Because the final card that you've got is the King of Swords, right? Now, this could be a person, but I don't feel it is one. We'll throw it in there anyway, you know, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Doesn't have to be a man, right? For me, this is a card of a real mental acuity, right? It's about being really sharp. Let's not forget that we had the Queen of Swords, right, on the bottom of the deck before. The Queen of Swords is kind of like a bullshit detector, right? She cuts out all the... She acts as a filter for me, right? So everything that goes through the sword suit right up to the Queen is all about pulling out those things that are completely irrelevant, right? So then what gets presented to the King is only those things that are factually accurate. Only those things that are true, and only those things that are really worthy of the attention of the King, right? Because he's going to do the right thing for the most amount of people. I think that's kind of the thing with the King of Swords, right? But he's also the pinnacle of a suit that talks about expression, mental expression, and that's the way that you think, or the way you express yourself externally to other people, right? This is asking you to be really, really sharp about how you express yourself to other people, right? You've got to be clear about what you want. You know, you've got to be clear about what you think. You've got to be clear about what what you're trying to manifest in. But your communications with others need to be kind of, I don't want to say careful, but like leave no room for subtext with anything that you say. Because King of Swords doesn't use subtext, right? He'll say exactly what he means. And if he doesn't mean it, he's not going to say it. And you're being asked to do the same, right? Because I feel like you're potentially dealing with people who are not on the same level as you, right? There's actually probably a bit of a disparity in intellectual ability, probably, between you and the people that you're dealing with, the people that you are exiting your life or you're trying to extricate yourself from, right? So you've got to be really concise and really clear and express yourself really, really well, right? This Page of Swords is looking back at this King here, don't leave room for somebody else to input motive or something that you don't mean, And the final ace you've got is the Ace of Cups, and this is the third fucking ace. Pisces got 3 aces as well. If you're dealing with a Pisces, maybe that's involved, but there've been a lot of aces come out for a lot of people, actually. Tell me about this Ace of Cups. I think this comes back to self-love, right? Because you've got this advice here like this, right? And you've got this disparity of levels, of maybe even cognitive ability. I don't know, you have to fill in the gaps, but there's certainly a sense that you are sitting at a king status and who you are dealing with is page status. And it's quite possible that actually what this is a level of pettiness from this side, actually, that you are being called to make sure that you are absolutely not engaging with at any point, right? And then we've got the Ace of Cups and the Five of Swords. And I feel like this Ace of Cups is self-love. I feel like this is the self-care thing that I was talking about right at the beginning, right? Like these are all acts of self-love. And this, for me, the fives are about energy shifts and uncomfortable change and all this kind of thing. But the Five of Swords is about a break in communication, right? It is an act of self-love. It is an act of self-care to break this communication with whoever you are dealing with, because they are holding you back. And I just feel like it's entirely appropriate that you, Aries, at the beginning of, a new zodiacal year, we're literally days away from it, you being trailblazers and pioneers, getting out there and doing everything first, should get the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Oh, fuck, and the Ace of Swords. Jesus, you've got a full fucking house. Aries, this is amazing. Look, all of the aces, right? You've got a clean slate coming up. And not only have you got that, but you've also got the fucking Magician energy, right? This is a really powerful time for you, but it's not quite ready yet. You need to use the time between now and, and the start of your season to work these things out, right? Work out what your home life, what your home space, whether that's you or your, as I said before, work out what it is here so that you can bring it into existence here, right? Get really fucking clear about it, because you've got aces across the board and you are bound only by the limits of your own imagination here. I'm serious, right? This is big energy, and I want to see you use it in the best possible way. And I feel like with the healing and stuff that you've been doing here anyway, you are already there. Like you are resonating at the right frequency, aligning with your energy. This is brilliant. I love it. Right, Aries, I'm going to go and get this uploaded as swiftly as possible. If you stuck with me this long, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And as ever, if it's resonated in any way, I'd love it if you liked the video and subscribe if you haven't and things like that. But for now, I'm going to pop off and I'll see you in about 10 days till the April readings. But best of luck. I love it. Take care.